And moving on to more harrowing news this afternoon. The Afghan small boat migrant Ahmad Mulakhil has been found guilty of abducting and repeatedly raping a 12-year-old girl in the Warwickshire town of Nuneaton. And GB News' Homeland Security editor Mark White has the details from Warwick Crown Court. Mark, welcome to the show. An incredibly harrowing case. Today, at last, justice has been served. Tell us more.
Well, I think way too often we appear together, Martin, talking about another migrant and asylum seeker given safe haven in this country who have gone on to commit the most horrific of offences. And here today, a prime example of that. 23-year-old Ahmad Mulakhil, who came here in March of last year, arrived illegally on a small boat across the English Channel, was put into accommodation in Nuneaton, and then just 4 months after arriving here, just 4 months later, he committed this series of crimes, a horrific abduction and rape and sexual assault of a girl aged just 12 years old. He and another asylum seeker, Mohammed Kabir, had met this girl in a local park in Nuneaton on the 22nd of July last year, had spoken for a while to the girl. Then in the evening, around about 8 o'clock in the evening, Ahmad Mulakhil abducted this 12-year-old girl, took her to a secluded cul-de-sac in the town and repeatedly raped her, sexually assaulted her, and also took photographs or took images of this young girl while he was sexually attacking her. Well, today the jury found him guilty on those multiple counts of rape, sexual assault, abduction and taking those indecent images. Mohammed Kabir, though, after some 7 hours and 39 minutes of deliberations, was found not guilty on all counts by the jury. Well, we've been speaking to Colette O'Keefe from Warwickshire Police, who reflected on the case.
She'd been out playing in Marlborough Park. She was on the zip wire when she first noticed two men. She's left with Mr. Mulakhil. They walk off towards Cheverell Place, and at the bottom of there, it's a cul-de-sac. It's very secluded. She was subjected to the most horrendous rape, sexual assault. I think they were very opportunistic. I think they saw that female hours before the actual offence. I think from there they targeted her. I don't think they went out that day to identify this particular victim. I think they just took an opportunity with her. In this particular case, you've got a 12-year-old victim. It's extremely important for her that we get justice, and we have.
Martin, this case changed the way in which information is released when it relates to illegal immigrants or asylum seekers involved in criminality after they've been charged, because there were widespread protests in Nuneaton in the immediate aftermath of this horrible attack. And that has now meant a change in the law in which some of the information regarding the ethnicity or immigration status of an individual who's been charged can be put out into the public realm. Well, today Ahmad Mulakhil was in court to hear the verdicts returned against him. The girl herself, when we heard videotaped evidence from her, spoke of being absolutely petrified of the fact that Ahmad Mulakhil laughed as he was attacking her, raping her and sexually assaulting her. Today, Martin, he wasn't laughing, he was crying in the dock as those guilty verdicts were returned.
Good. Maybe cries for years in prison where he belongs as an absolute maggot who's destroyed someone's life. 4 months in this country. Justice has been served. Thank you, Mark White, for joining us on the show from Warwick Crown Court on another day where our children seem to just been thrown to the mercy in this country. Look, I'm joining the studio, some reaction by GB News' political editor Chris Hope and also the Reform UK MP Sarah Pochin. Sarah Pochin, before we get onto the politics of the day, I wanted to get your reaction to that. I know you're listening and I know you care deeply about safety of women and girls. Some of the detail of this case, as well as the crime itself, was the reaction of the guilty. Mr Mulakhil was laughing. He said there was no reflection in court. This is what we've heard from court. There's no reflection. Nothing in retrospect made him consider he'd made a mistake. He blamed her, the 12-year-old. He lied. He thought the 12-year-old was 20 or 19, but definitely over 18. No remorse, no regret. And a lot of people might say, how many more of these cases do we have to hear before something's done about it?
Look, we know, don't we, government statistics tell us that these illegal asylum seekers, particularly of the Afghan origin, are 20 times more likely to rape and sexually assault in this country when they get here. They have medieval attitudes towards our women and girls. When is this government going to secure our borders and do what they say they always do, and that is put the safety of women and girls first? But they clearly don't. Our children are being raped. And that is because our borders are not secure, our streets are not safe. This young girl was out playing in a park. We've just heard that. I know in my own constituency of Runcorn and Halsby, mothers tell me that they will not let their young girls anymore go out in the parks by themselves. It is not safe.
Deeply distressing case of a 12-year-old girl who was abducted, raped, and sexually assaulted in a secluded area in the town of Nuneaton in Warwickshire. The attacker, found guilty today, an asylum seeker from Afghanistan, 23-year-old Ahmad Mulakhil, an illegal immigrant who arrived here on a small boat in March last year. Just 4 months later, he went on to commit these horrific offences. It was the 22nd of July at a local play park in Nuneaton where this 12-year-old girl was. Mulakhil was there alongside another Afghan asylum seeker, Mohammed Kabir, and were engaged in conversation with this 12-year-old. At that point, later on, we're told in the evening, around about 8 o'clock, this girl was abducted by Mulakhil, taken to a secluded cul-de-sac, and was repeatedly raped, sexually assaulted, and also indecent images were taken of this child at that point as well. Now, I mentioned that other Afghan migrant, Mohammed Kabir. The jury today found him not guilty of the 3 charges that he faced. He'd faced a charge of attempted child abduction, with intent to commit a sexual act against a child, and also an act of intentional strangulation. The jury, having deliberated for some 7 hours and 39 minutes, found this second Afghan migrant not guilty on all charges. But as I say, Ahmad Mulakhil was found guilty of 2 counts of rape, 2 counts of sexual assault involving this child, also of abducting this 12-year-old girl and taking those indecent images. He has been remanded back into custody. He's been placed on the child or the sex offenders register. He will come back here to Warwick Crown Court at a date still to be determined for sentencing, Martin.